We're going to be mainly lying down, whether that's on our back or on our front, for those of you happy to lie on your front. So just making sure you have everything you might need. If you haven't been to this class before, some blankets, some cushions, some pillows, really, really helpful. You don't have to have yoga blocks, you don't have to have bolsters. We will stretch your legs. I've taken a few requests this evening. So we've got tight legs, we've got neck, we've got shoulders, we've got glutes. So a little bit of a mix. If you have a yoga belt or strap or a scarf or a band, a belt of a dressing gown, having that nearby, making sure you're going to be warm because it is going to be a slow class. We'll take a little bit of time at the end for a shorter 10-15 minute, hopefully, yoga nidra to really rest and come into deep rest for sleep. So taking your time to come to lying on your back, making sure you feel comfortable where you are. So you may find you want a little bit of padding under your head, cushion or pillow. For some of you, particularly if you've been challenged with long COVID, perhaps there's a little bit more of an angle. So maybe your head is quite a bit higher than your heart. Maybe you're in lying bed with a few pillows. Taking your time to settle. And if something doesn't feel right, whether that's right now or as we come through the class this evening, adjusting, just taking the time to adjust and making sure you feel comfortable where you are. Really important this evening to listen to your body and offer it what it needs. I'm going to come to lying down with my feet flat on the floor, knees bent. That's my personal preference at this point this evening. Some of you may have your legs extended. If it feels possible to offer the lower back a little bit more support, you may like to have a blanket under your knees if you've got your legs extended. That's just going to allow your lower back, deeper abdominal muscles to rest, come into a more restful shape. Hands, arms resting wherever feels comfortable for you. And taking some time to settle. Often as we come to our mat, we've perhaps got a few things finished or done this evening. So beginning to slowly tune in to where you are right now, leaving the rest of your day behind. Taking your time to release or relax through your jaw area. So maybe that's opening your mouth wide, sticking your tongue out. Maybe it's rolling your tongue around the inside of your mouth, which we often take in the breathe class as well. Pushing your tongue into your cheek, around the upper and lower lip. Stretching out your lower facial muscles. So this is really helpful as we hold tension on our jaw, and that can affect our breath, can affect how we are generally feeling. So beginning to invite your jaw, your facial muscles to soften. If it feels possible, a light seal of your lips, breathing in and out through your nose. And we'll begin to very slowly take some movement through our head, neck and shoulders. So when you feel ready, gently turning your head towards your right hand side. In your own time, bringing your head back to center slowly and gently and turning towards your left hand side. Slowly and gently once again bringing your head back to center, and we'll take some more movements through our head and neck area. So we're going to begin to slowly tuck our chin towards our chest, Taking your time as you do so to roll your head towards the right hand side. So your chin stays tucked towards your chest, and as you move your head towards the right hand side, it's a little bit closer to your right shoulder than it was when we took this first twist a moment ago. So there shouldn't be any pain or strain in any of the movements this evening, but particularly around the head and neck, we sometimes hold a lot of tension there or find that everything feels a bit stiff. So adjusting as you need to. And when you're ready, gently bringing your head back to center, keeping the tuck of the chin towards your chest and rolling your head towards the the left hand side. And then slowly bringing your head back to center. For this round, we're going to begin to lift our chin towards the sky. So the back of your head is supported by whatever you have beneath you, whatever surface you're lying on, whether you're in bed or on the floor. It's just this chin moving up towards the sky. And then we're turning our head to our right hand side once again. So we're beginning to work all the muscles in the neck area as we come through these movements, slowly softening and releasing. Some of these muscles are our secondary respiratory muscles, some of the muscles that can help us breathe, but often they take over and get a little bit too tight if we've been shallow breathing or mouth breathing. So this possibility of softening and releasing through the head and neck, helping our breath to soften as well. In your own time, excuse me, bringing your head back to center, keeping the chin lifted and rolling your head towards the left hand side. And then if you'd like to, drawing gentle circles with the tip of your nose. Very soft, gentle circles. If you get dizzy at any point, just pausing, taking rest. Really slow, gentle circles with the tip of your nose. In your own time, changing direction. Finding your head in stillness once again. And we'll begin to move a little bit lower down to the shoulders. So we're going to take one shoulder, doesn't matter which shoulder you start with, and simply lift the shoulder up. So the arms, the hands could be resting on the surface beside you, they could be resting on your belly. One shoulder's lifting up and then gently releasing. If you'd like to count how many you do, we're looking for around 6 to 8. Perhaps you just feel into the movement. Lifting one shoulder up and allowing it to drop back down. When you feel ready, changing sides. So exactly the same on the other side, lifting of the shoulder and gently dropping down. Taking one last movement, if you're still going, and then arriving at rest and stillness again. And we're going to begin to change that movement slightly, so coming back to the other shoulder, we're going to push the shoulder into the surface we're lying on, and then gently release. Pushing down and releasing. So just the shoulder regions pushing down, and then it's coming back up. And it might feel like that shoulder blade is almost trying to reach the other shoulder blade. When you're ready, changing sides. So maybe you're beginning to notice any tension, your tightness in your neck and your shoulders slowly melting away. Some small gentle movements that we can do lying down to relieve those kind of knots we sometimes find in this area. When you're ready, coming back to stillness. And we're going to begin to move the arms just a little bit. So we'll take our right hand or right arm and float it up and behind us. So softness in the elbow, just being aware of anything that might be behind you. And then bringing your right hand, your right arm back down, either to meet the floor, the surface beside you, or your belly. You might like to take one, you could take a few more, maybe aiming for around 4 to 6. If you know you want to go a little bit further. Trying to keep the movement really slow, and maybe you begin to integrate your breath. So breathing in as you take your hand up and over, and breathing out as you bring your hand, your arm back down. Resting at any point. If your arm gets a little bit tingly or you'll find pins and needles creeping in, taking rest. And if you're still going, maybe taking one last round on this side. And as you come to stillness, acknowledging any difference, any change between your two sides. You might find one side now feels a little heavier or a little softer than the other. And taking your time to take that exact same movement on the other side. Mindful it could feel very different. So it might be not quite as easy, perhaps it's a little bit more of a strain. Just working with the other shoulder, the other arm where it is. If you'd like to integrate the breath, breathing in as you take your hand, your arm up and behind you. And breathing out as you bring your hand back down towards the surface you're lying on. So this soft flowing movement, perhaps integrating your breath, beginning to soothe your nervous system. If you are still going, you might like to take one last round. As your body settles back to stillness, taking a few breaths here, so this time to allow the vibrations of the movement to soften and to settle. And when you feel ready, taking hold of your knees, giving yourself a knee hug. And this could be really soft, see how your hips feel. It could be a little stronger, a little deeper. So maybe you draw your knees a little closer and towards your chest. As you do so, just making sure your breath is still flowing. You could make it more dynamic, letting go, hugging in, whatever feels right for you. And then maybe you take some circles as well, some gentle circling of the knees. Knees perhaps staying together and taking some circles in one direction. And then changing direction. Eventually finding your feet back in contact with the floor, the surface you're lying on. And we'll draw just one knee in and bring some movement to our foot. So with the deep sleep class, when I'm covering for Susie, I like to aim to try and release tension from the crown of our heads to the tips of our toes and the tips of our fingers. This sense of almost stretching out the whole body, creating a little bit of space for a breath, allowing knots and tension to melt away. It can feel quite nice to spread the toes out as well as pointing and flexing and circling. And then when you feel ready, changing sides. And doing everything really slowly, so supporting the nervous system to coming into that rest and digest side. Maybe spreading your toes. And then allowing your left foot to come back down towards the earth. And if it feels okay for you, having semi-supine shape here. So semi-supine or constructive rest, simply lying on the back with the knees bent, feet flat on the floor, but only if that feels okay for you. We're going to take a supine pigeon to work into the glutes. I can't remember who requested glute stretch, but this is a great one. So beginning to find the outside of your right ankle at the front of your left thigh. And taking a moment here to allow the leg to feel into this position. And then maybe you begin to take the right hand and push away on the inside of the right thigh, avoiding the knee, so always keeping the knee safe. This first step's really helpful to begin to almost create some more space in the inner thigh here, groin area. You may find you can feel it into your glute already. Does anything change if you flex your right foot? Sometimes that's helpful if the knee finds this a little bit more challenging. This might be where you're at. You might even just be without the hand there. But really welcome to draw your left leg in. So taking hold of somewhere behind the thigh if possible. Maybe you can reach for your knee. So you can decide how far you would like to reach. Making sure your breath hasn't been compromised. So that's really key. Encouraging that soft, gentle breath. So if the glutes feel quite tight tonight, maybe just taking a softer version. And then once you've found the shape, if you have come to this shape, taking hold of the left leg, maybe you notice if you've rolled to one side. So you may well have rolled to one side. Is it possible to just gently even out your hips, your pelvis? May make it feel a little bit stronger. Eventually releasing if you haven't already. And we're going to slowly change sides. So taking your time to find the outside of your left foot at the front of your right thigh. And once again, we're taking a few breaths here. Seeing how this knee feels, the left knee. Just seeing how this shape is working for our bodies this evening. In your own time, you might like to take your left hand to the inside of your left thigh. Just gently pushing the thigh away. So as if to try and create a little bit more space around the left inner groin and a hip area. You might like to explore pointing and flexing your left foot. Taking rest when you need to. Or perhaps your body's calling for a slightly deeper stretch. So drawing your right knee, your right foot off the mat or off the surface you're lying on, taking your hands behind the right thigh. Maybe you reach for the right knee if that's possible. Feeling into a stretch in the left hip, left glute, somewhere in that region. And noticing if you've rolled to one side, is it possible to even that up a little? How does that change the stretch for you? Eventually releasing your right leg if you haven't already. And maybe you extend your legs, kind of pointing and flexing of the legs, stretching out the legs a little bit here. You might, if you have space, like to take your hands overhead, taking this kind of full body stretch. Maybe you rotate your wrists. And then we'll slowly begin to find our way back to our semi-supine position. Getting ready to stretch our hamstrings, the back of the legs. So This is where a scarf or a belt, something similar, is going to be helpful. And we're going to place this around the base of our right foot, aiming for the ball of the right foot here. And this might be really familiar to you, this shape. I know it's something Susie often teaches. Perhaps there's an invitation here for your shoulders to soften, and that might be a change in your grip. So you could hold your scarf or belt closer to your toes. If it's long enough, it might be that you can just allow your elbows to rest, if that feels okay. Perhaps you take both sides in your right hand. There isn't a sort of one size fits all, just feeling into what's going to support your shoulders and neck, knowing that we've taken a bit of time to release through them. Or once you've found your hand grip, maybe you begin to slowly reach your heel up towards the sky. So there could be still quite a strong bend in your right knee and still get a sensation of stretch down the back of your leg. Really welcome to straighten the leg here. As the knee isn't weight bearing, we can really straighten the leg and perhaps engage through the base of your big toe. So the base of your big toe pushing into the scarf or belt you are using. If your leg begins to shake at any point, just easing off. It's just the muscles working very hard. So just taking time to rest. Listening to your body here. We're going to be here for around 4 to 6 more breaths, easing out sooner if you would like to. Also the option to extend your left leg and find a slightly stronger version. Eventually releasing this side, unhooking the belt, taking a moment of rest here on this side. You may even find your right hip feels a little softer or even has dropped a little compared to your left. And we'll begin to take that on the other side. So when you feel ready, if you are taking this stretch, strap your belt around the ball of your left foot. And taking a moment to check the hand grip is supporting you, supporting your shoulders. In your own time, beginning to reach through the left heel. So the left heel's reaching up towards the sky. There could be quite a strong bend in the left knee. And just by that movement, the heel kicking up, we're getting a stretch down the calf and the back of the leg there. But also very welcome to stretch the leg to almost straight. We're going to be here for about 4 to 6 more breaths, easing out sooner if your body's asking you to. If your breath becomes a little faster or laboured in any way, or your leg begins to shake, easing out. And then very slowly bending into your left knee if you haven't already and releasing your leg down. Taking a few breaths in a resting shape. Bringing your awareness to your breath, to your physical body. Witnessing any changes beginning to occur. You might find the movements, the stretches we've taken already are just beginning to allow your body to soften. And knowing that you're really welcome just to rest here. There's no need to do anything else if your body is saying just rest now. So perhaps you join me in taking a few more stretches. We're going to take our strap, our belt around the base of our right foot again. So same position as before, but this time we're going to take both sides in our left hand and allow our right hand to come down towards the floor beside us, or the surface we're lying on. And we're going to encourage our right leg to come across the body towards the left hand side. Maybe the leg is straight, maybe the knee's got a soft bend. We're aiming for the toes to come towards our face. That's going to make it quite strong. So you'll be able to allow your heel to move away. You'll be able to allow to bring your toes towards your face. We're sort of looking for a stretch down the outside of the right leg. Connective tissue here of the IT band. So I often cite marathon runners and cyclists for this one. Always have a tight IT band, but that's definitely not me. And mine's pretty tight today. So yoga teachers as well. Easing off, making sure your breath is soft, it's flowing. This can be a strong stretch. In your own time, slowly bending into the knees, you bring it back to center, releasing that side slowly and allowing your leg to rest. So a resting shape once again, any form of rest that supports you. And we'll take that on the other side. Placing the scarf belt around the ball of your left foot. Taking both sides in your right hand, left hand coming down beside you, so you're supporting your balance here. And then when you're ready, bringing your left foot across the body towards the right hand side. It might just be a little, perhaps it's a lot. It's a sense almost of your heel reaching up towards the sky, but the toes moving towards your face. So we're sort of aiming to feel it in the outside of the leg. There's no wrong or right way to feel any of these stretches, but this is where we tend to feel this one. Breathing. When you're ready, bringing your leg back to center if you haven't already, bending into the knee and releasing that leg. Popping your belt to one side and maybe extending your legs and taking rest for a few breaths here. So you may even begin to notice you feel a bit longer, a bit taller, legs softening here. A sense of perhaps even feeling a little bit lighter. And we're going to take our time and roll onto one side. So a little bit more will work around the shoulders and the thoracic spine, that middle section that holds the rib cage. And I'm going to change my position so I can guide you. But rolling onto your right hand side first and making sure your head is fully supported. So I've got a block here. It could be a couple of pillows. It could be a brick. Knees can tuck in as much as you would like them to. If you feel a nice big knee tuck feels comfortable, feels supportive, maybe that's where you are. But this bend in the knees supporting our balance. Right hand's just resting where it rests. Could even come under the head if you haven't got quite enough height. And then we're going to take some movement with the left hand. So a couple of options. It might be that you begin to reach up and over. So there's a little bit of a twist happening here, but the knees are remaining stacked. So, and opening up through the chest and your heart center. All the other options to begin to make some circling movements. It's almost as if your left hand becomes the hand of a clock. So one or the other, or a mixture of both, whatever feels good for you. You might find you get to a point and reaching away at a certain angle just feels really good. So if possible here, being guided by your body. Exploring what feels good. Looking for about 2 more breaths on this side. And when you're ready, taking your time to roll onto your left hand side, doing so slowly, gently, carefully. So I'll aim to work with this rest and digest side of the nervous system. This kind of slow motion. And taking the time to make sure your head, your neck feels supported. So making sure you've got all the support you need. Knees are bent once again. This idea of the tucking your knees can feel quite lovely and secure. Left arm resting where it feels it wants to rest, and taking movement with the right hand, the right arm. So maybe that's an opening up, a sort of twisting movement. Perhaps it's more of a circular clock-like movement. Maybe it's a combination of both. What feels good for you on this side? And it's likely to feel different, and that's okay. So you'll be right-handed or left-handed, perhaps even ambidextrous, but one side's likely to feel different. Two more breaths on this side, exploring movement if you'd like to carry on. As always, welcome to come into stillness, welcome to come to rest at any time. And in your own time, finding your way into a resting shape. So we're going to begin to find rest in Yoga Nidra. If there's any other movement that you would like to take, taking the opportunity now. So perhaps as you find your way into a relaxation, maybe there's a knee hug, maybe there's a stretching out through the arms and the toes, taking your time to offer your body anything else it needs. Also making sure you are going to be warm. When you do make it into stillness, just taking that moment, like we did at the beginning, Is there anything else you can offer yourself, offer your body to be that little bit more comfortable? If for any reason your mind's feeling busy, sometimes it can be helpful to have something in your hand. So maybe even just feeling a pillow, a blanket, the scarf or belt you're using in your hand, something tactile to connect yourself to the present moment. Beginning to notice the points of contact you have between your physical body and the surface you are relaxing on. If at any point you need to move or you're just still setting yourself up, taking your time, there's no rush. And inviting movement when needed, if needed. Is it possible to release through your jaw or perhaps invite it to rest? Maybe following your breath in and out through your nostrils. And bringing your awareness to your right foot, your right ankle, your right shin bone, your right calf, all the way to your right knee. Inviting this part of your body to soften a little more. In your own time, beginning to bring your awareness to your right thigh and your right glute, the larger muscles in our body, sometimes needing a little bit more encouragement to find rest. Inviting your thigh and inviting your right glute to soften a little deeper. Bringing your awareness to your left foot, your left ankle, your left shin bone, your left calf muscle, and your left knee. Inviting this part of your body to soften a little deeper. Becoming aware of your left thigh and your left glute. Inviting a softening here. Bringing your awareness to your right hand, your right fingers and thumb, to your right wrist, right forearm, right elbow, right upper arm, and your right shoulder. Inviting your right arm to soften a little deeper. Becoming aware of your left fingers and thumb, your left hand, your left wrist, your left forearm, your left elbow, your left upper arm, and your left shoulder. Inviting your left arm to soften a little deeper. Maybe noticing the rise and fall of your breath in your body. An invitation for your belly to soften, to relax. The muscles that surround your rib cage to soften. The backs of your shoulders to rest a little deeper. And inviting the softening to flow and travel through your neck, your jaw, your tongue, all your facial muscles, including your forehead, to the crown of your head. Each part of your body finding rest. Perhaps aware of a stillness, a sense of quiet, of peace your mind, your body, a softness, perhaps a sense of ease. Inviting this deep rest to your physical body, your mind, and your breath. Knowing you're really welcome to stay here where you are for as long as you would like to, or as long as you are able to. I'm going to end our Zoom room and leave you in rest and relaxation.